really terrible Zerg player. I'm not exactly sure what you can do from this position. I would have thought switching back into Broodlords would have been a good idea by now. But perhaps some of you guys can give me some tips. I'd love that with Zerg. But I would have thought from this position that Zerg would really want to just get as many Broodlords and Corruptors as possible. We've got a nuke going down. Where is that one? We've got a Ghost over here. As I said, high-level energy unit play. We're going to see a nuke go down here. We're going to see this come down in just a second, and Nestea has not seen it. Good night, Overlords. That was one of the most awesome nukes I've ever seen. Check that out. That just took out so many Overlords. How many kills is this guy on? He's currently on 18 kills. He's just lost his cloak, but his work is done. He's going to do a bit of a... there he goes. He actually goes down with that blood-curling stream. And but he's done his work. As I said, you want to use energy units to their greatest effect, and Zergie just did that. He just killed 18 Overlords, has put Nestea into the red. As you can see here, he's currently sitting on 199 over 62. So he cannot build any more units. He cannot replenish his units. So from a Zerg perspective, this is actually really annoying because you have to sit there, and if you attack and you lose your units, you cannot replenish them. You sort of have to sit around and say, well, I've got no Overlords, lol, I'm now going to die. So from Nestea's position, he is in a really, really terrible position now that he cannot rebuild any of his forces, even though he's banked up 2k minerals and 1k gas. So he's going to have to make some brilliant tactical maneuver. The tides have definitely turned in Zergie's favor at the moment. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to put it on fast forward again, and we'll just see what happens. I would suspect that we're going to see some more ghost play from Zergie. He's sort of sitting on, these dudes just chilling out here with their full energy. Perhaps we'll see some snipes going out. We got a changeling, laters. Changelings are pretty cool, by the way, guys. I don't actually see people use them enough. But we've got a Mutaflock flying around. He's actually using the Mutaflock with this Overseer to try and clean out any ghosts that may be floating around. That's sort of where he is using all of his micro at the moment. Check that out. We're currently on 164 APM average for Nestea and 92 for Zergie. He's actually sort of doing nothing at the moment. But so this is sort of where it gets to in this stage of the game, where you're sort of sitting in this spot, and for Zerg, as I said, he's sort of doing nothing. He is, we see some suicide SCVs there killing themselves, and another nuke going down. We'll just keep it on fast forward because that is actually not a useful nuke, but he's going to kill a spine crawler. Better than nothing, I suppose. And the ghost is had done his work for the day. He's gone back over here. We got some ravens popping out. There we go. I wanted to see some ravens because if you are using ravens at this stage of the game, if you are going to switch into mass ravens, that is when your opponent is going to have a lot of trouble, because you can use, especially a Zerg, because they cannot use Hydralisks against mass ravens. PDD shuts down the point defense drone, for those of you playing at home, shuts down Hydras, and so you cannot really use Hydras against mass ravens. You can't obviously use any non-air-based units because they will be useless. And the ravens can just fly around and chuck down auto turrets, which are really, really good for this stage of the game, where you want to use energy. So as I said before, we're sort of emphasizing on that using energy instead of using minerals and gas to actually take up your attack on your opponent. So Zergie's coming here. He's going to try and take a shot at some of these units. He spots that there are two spore crawlers hanging around here, and the spore crawlers are obviously going to detect the ghost if they get in range of it. But Nestea, that was a bit worrying. The nuke was almost done. Some creep tumors go down, which is also pretty good for Zergie. And but Nestea just gets all of his stuff out of the way just in time. Let's just have a quick look at how many units are on the map. We've currently got a grand total of 26 banelings just rolling around here in this little pack. We've got 4 Broodlords. I think they're just in the middle of the map. We got 4 Ultralisks as well, 33 Hydras, and 8 Infestors. So we will probably see perhaps some sort of push, and it will probably revolve around the Infestors. As I said before, energy sort of units are the key to late game if you are not going for some sort of, you know, mass N tier unit, e.g. mass carriers, battle cruisers, if you're not going mass broodlords with corruptor support. So that's sort of the stage we're at the moment, and let's just have a quick look at what Zergie has here in this massive array of his battlefield. He's got 22 Hellions with Blue Flame now, finally. 6 Thors covering the air across here, as you can see. And he's got 11 tanks, 10 Vikings, and a few Ravens as well. Not really sure why he's attacking into these auto turrets, but either way, he did it. But as mentioned before, this is sort of this stage where you get these energy units actually coming into their full potential here, especially the Ravens. Has he got Corvid Reactor? No, he doesn't have Corvid Reactor yet. Want to see him get that one. That is really useful, of course. Increases the starting energy of the Ravens by 25. Really useful. And then we just sort of, as I said before, we're in a bit of a really terrible position for Nestea at the moment. He cannot attack into the Terran. He cannot make any sorts of drops here. As you can see, there are turrets covering every little inch of this base here from Zergie. And he obviously can't attack into the front because he'll just get mashed up like a whole bunch of potatoes. So we'll have to see if Nestea has any sort of plan in mind. Let's just have a quick look in his cam. He's sort of just currently sitting here just healing up some of the units that were a bit low, and he's now sort of just wandering around the map. Let's check out his APM while he's doing this. He's currently sitting on not too much. Currently sitting on 157 average APM. Obviously for both of these plays, this has sort of died down given that we're into this late stage of the game, but we'll see how they go, and let's just have a quick look at what Zergie is up to. He's sort of just floating around with some of his units. He's using his medevac there. He might go for another ghost drop to try and get another nuke off, which would be really cool to see. He's just floating around with his Ravens. So yeah, he is going for the drop. He's going to use the, as you saw there, a ghost just jumped into that medevac and he's going to try and give it another shot. But we'll see what happens here. We're just keeping it on ×2. In fact, I might just kick it up to ×4 just for the moment. There we go. We've got these Ravens just flying around. He's providing a bit of a distraction with these Ravens, just cleaning up. While down here in the 6 o'clock, he's sort of moving in there with that ghost. Not really sure what that's going to do. Heatseeker Missile is off and running at the races, but they're not going to get anywhere. They are unfortunately just a bit too slow to catch those mutas when the mutas are on full tilt running across the map. But a great play there with the Heatseeker Missiles. It's good to see them out. Not many people use them. I know they are. It is quite a lot of gas that you need to actually make Ravens effective, but either way, they're still very cool to see, especially when they get a hit off. We've got a nice little setup here from Zergie. He's chucked down a couple of point defense drones here just to stop any mutas along with Hydras, and he's got Thors on the high ground here. I think he might be trying to lure in the Mutalists. He might try and move out with the Ravens here and actually take a shot at putting down some auto turrets, then retreat to the point defense drones and its cover of the Thors, but we'll see what happens. Sort of just moving around just at the moment. We'll keep an eye on what these Ravens are doing, and just for the moment, of course, Nestea isn't really doing much. So we're sort of sitting here in ×4 mode, guys. Hopefully this isn't boring you too much. Hopefully if you've stayed the whole distance, I'll go out there and actually spoil it and say there isn't too long to go, just according to the timer bar. There isn't too long to go, but we'll see what happens. We got we'll slow it down just a tick. We got an Overlord over here just covering this this low ground here, making sure that you can see if there are any sorts of ghosts to try and run in, and another one over here as well. But this ghost is going to try and walk in, but there is a spore crawler just behind, just in range to actually detect that the ghost was available to come out, and the Hydralist took him out. But another ghost comes across. Get out of my Zelnaga tower, he says, and snipes away that Baneling. And so we're sort of still, once again, sort of in this stuck sort of position where we have the advantage of these point defense drones for Zergie, and he's going to use them to great effect here. He's chucked down, that is a whole heap of point defense drones. He's using them, and he's going to chuck down some more auto turrets here as well, using them to just slowly push across. Now this is the point where in Nestea's shoes, you're sort of thinking, well, this guy's just got like a whole bunch of Ravens, and you know, I don't really have too much. The Hydras can't do anything to Ravens, of course. The point defense drone goes down and they become useless. Banelings, of course, can't attack air, but it'd be pretty cool if Banelings could, like, bungee jump out of a plane or something and kill some Ravens, but either way. And then, obviously, the Mutalisks can't do too much because we have Ravens with Viking support, so Mutalisks aren't going to do too much. He's trying to move into the auto turrets. You're not really sure why you'd want to move into the auto turrets, but obviously, I slowed it down a bit too much, but these auto turrets here are actually taking out some of these units, so I'm not really sure why he's moved into that position. There is that trap. Where is Admiral Akbar? That is a huge trap, and it worked to perfection there. Cleaned up a lot of those Mutalisks. I think we said before we had 26 Mutalisks out on the map. We are now down to a measly 8 in this little pack just here. So we'll have to see where Nestea goes from here. There is not too long left in this one, guys. So we've got another nuke is all ready and ready to go for Zergie. I'm not really sure why he hasn't done anything with it, but either way, Mule's coming down to repair once again, using the energy of some of your units to great effect. And it looks as if Nestea's sort of moving around here. He does have all these units grouped up. He's got group number 2 is this group here with Mutalisks in separate groups and the Infestors as well. Obviously, quite a sign of high-level players is when you sort of group things up like that, which is really cool to see. So we're sort of sitting in an interesting spot now with some mules going out. He's going to scout with these. Huge battle here. These mules go down straight away. Not really that cool. We'll speed it up. And we are on ×2. So we've currently in this stalemate here. I think Nestea is getting into position to move out. He's got his infestors here at the front. They might want to try and fungal growth as soon as they can, or perhaps he might just be floating around. We got some broodlords. Here we go. We got some broodlords that are going to come across here, and they're going to try and take some shots from afar. But the siege tanks take shots at the broodlings. Actually, kill their own supply depot. Point defense drone goes down. A whole bunch of point defense drones to try and stop the Hydras and the Mutas from shooting, and they do indeed do that. And the Vikings are just going to cruise along and take out any of these leftover air units. Let's just check out the units lost tab. We're currently sitting at 573 units lost for Zergie and 910 for Nestea. So I think that is a sign there. We're going to actually move into a final battle. Nestea's moving in. He's got his Ultralisks up front. We've got some Infestors in the middle. This is, I don't know, I presume that was intentional. He's such a great player. Here we go, moving in here. Fungal growth on the Ravens, which is really good, denies them getting into any sort of good position. We've got some EMPs going down on these Infestors as well. Fantastic play there by Zergie. And that is it from Nestea. He GG's, and that is all over Red Rover. That was a pretty cool attempt at a bust there from Nestea, but obviously that was just a massive fail given just the strength of the tanks and the wall and the Thors and all of this junk that was hanging out here from Zergie. So hopefully you guys actually learnt something. I learnt that my throat is about to die, and obviously there for Terran players this sort of came as a bit of, I would suspect, a bit more educational for the Terran players. If you're getting into that late game there and you've not decided to switch to battle cruisers, get a whole bunch of Ravens. They will win you the game. For Zerg players, I think, sort of, as I said, I'm no expert on Zerg at all, so I'm not really sure if there was anything else that Nestea could have done, given that he was against the Terran, and it was an incredibly turtley position here from Zergie. But I think for the Zerg players, you really want to have made sure that you can stop the Terran from expanding before he gets to this sort of position here where he's sitting on a massive bank along with a whole heap of tanks, and you want to sort of get a whole lot of broodlords out to clean up. But I'm not sure if you guys want to comment on that, or if you want to give me some tips about Zerg. Please let me know, or comment in the comment thingo down below in the video. Hopefully that was educational for some of you guys. Protoss, you can go away. We'll do a long Protoss game later on. And thank you very much for watching that one, guys. That was a pretty epic long game. So I thank you for sticking with it. Make sure you comment, subscribe, all of that jazz. Thank you very much, guys. Cheers.